This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Hawke's Bay, a community access media station. Thank you to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.
Hi, welcome to Radio Hawke's Bay. This is Gail with Life Coaching with Gail, psychic, spiritual, intuitive, everything to do with your personal self, life. You are emotional beings, mental beings, soul beings, and physical beings. So there are many facets to you. We talk about that from time to time. So this year you might find that you've been affected more this year, maybe triggered more, maybe shattered and scattered more than in previous years by events in your life and in yourself. And I just want to share a little bit. You know, this is an 8 year. This is a year where heaven and earth work together, correlate. It is a year where you can create, manifest, and attract things into your life that you want, wish, and desire. And, you know, if you're going through life and you have not been happy for a while, that can be over a number of years. If you have not been happy, if things haven't quite been working out for you in the job you're in your relationship, with your money, then this year is a power year. And what I mean by that, it is a year where things will happen, change, be created that start to bring things back into balance from then on. So if you've gone through a relationship breakup, if you have gone through a family dynamic breakup or changing scenario, if you have gone through a personal breakdown, shift, monumental event within yourself where you have looked at your life, looked at yourself, wondered what is going on, wondered what you've been doing all this time and what has it come to, and feel that maybe it has been for nothing or that you've lost something because of it. I just want you to know that it is not in vain. There are changes coming into your personal life that will actually elevate your way of being, elevate your lifestyle maybe, elevate your sense of achievement in a different kind of way, elevate your energy where you can see above and beyond the small routine things, the small mundane things, and see them as less important, maybe less significant, less meaningful than you thought before. There are all types of changes, transformations going on this year. It is a powerful year. It is. So I say leading up till now that if you have not been happy in your life in some way, anyway, actually, if you've not been happy in yourself, in your performance, or in the role that you're playing in your life, if you have been hoping or wishing or wanting something different for yourself or from yourself, then circumstances and events that happen to you and affect you personally are putting you in that direction. They are turning your attention somewhere else. They are getting you to look inside yourself, sit, be quiet, reflect. Things are not the way they were before. And maybe, you're sitting in that space where there's, well, what is there left? Is there anything left at all? And that space is perfect. That space gives you space. that we don't give ourselves in our busy lives. That space just gives you time to look at around you, look at what you had, look at what you appreciated and were grateful for, even though you weren't maybe happy in some ways. But what were you happy for? What were you happy about? What did give your life meaning? Was it a person? Was it a kindness from your friends? Was it your family? What is it that really is now still there, even though other things have fallen apart? What is still there in your life? And if you only have yourself, then yourself is enough. Yourself is everything. Yourself may not seem like everything, and everything else around you may seem like empty space. Remember this, that empty space is simply that you have cleared the room. And now into that room and into that space, you can slowly bring in things that support you, support your values, support your way of viewing life. Like pieces of furniture, if you like. If you have a room, it would be a piece of furniture that you just appreciate for some higher reason than just having a piece of furniture. It is the same with yourself. Bring one something special into your life that might remind you of happier times in your life, or maybe just something that's a bit playful, that's not important whether it stays or goes. Just start bringing one thing at a time into that space around you and think about it. Appreciate it. Remember it if you've got memories around it. It doesn't have to be big steps. The little steps, the sitting, the being in that space, doing things that help pull your focus in a direction that you enjoy. Laughter's great, by the way, and sometimes ridiculous laughter is wonderful. So if you have nothing to laugh about and you've not got a laugh left in you, start watching a little bit of comedy. It will be bland. There will be often nothing perhaps that makes you giggle or laugh. But if you keep watching those comedians and those funny movies, there'll be one time at some point that you will smile maybe, and that you will laugh. And that is your signal that happiness will enter your life again, that your life will be full and rich, but in a better way. Because what you've really done is you've cleared out space in your life where those things didn't work for you anymore. Those things had kind of worn out their usefulness. If you don't know what you are looking forward to, think about what you've been thinking about over the last couple of years. What's not working? What's not been working? Have you been unhappy in your job? Have you been unable to feel anything except get up in the morning and go to work for a while? If you have, and you're still in that job, I'm telling you, it will not last. And I'm not saying that to be a doom and gloom. I am saying if it doesn't fit you this year, something will shift it from your experience. And you may do it willingly. Sometimes that's actually the best way to do it. If you've been just looking around at jobs, for instance, for a while and you haven't found anything, or you haven't got a job after applying for it, it will happen, and the transition will not be as tough. If you, on the other hand, have been in a job for 20 odd years and you are staying in that job for some particular reason. Maybe it's to reach a goal with your money. Maybe it's to reach the goal of retirement. There may well be an event, or has been an event this year, that will have shifted you from that job because it was damaging you. Maybe it was too stressful. Maybe that stress had been going on for too long. Maybe it was because you were in an unfriendly environment where people were hostile toward you or had hostile thoughts and energies toward you. It is not good for you to stay in those things, and we put ourselves through a lot that we don't necessarily need to put ourselves through. And a greater power, the universe, will move you from what spot that is not fitting with you, not working for you. They will shift you from that spot after a time. They'll give you plenty of time to make up your mind, to sort out whether or not it's working for you. And then they'll go, look, enough, this is really damaging you. There is something better ahead of you. You need to be still fully functioning, not broken by the time you actually start doing something new in your life. And then they will change situations and circumstances for you. So it's not just with work, it's with relationships. It is with relationships, for instance, it's actually a chance for you to look at your relationship and actually appreciate and value what you receive from another person, and look at what you give to that other person in an honest way. Of course we give from our heart. What are our behaviours that we give, though? Do they match the feelings that we have for this person? Or are those words and actions a reflection of our own insecurity, our own fear around the relationship, our own stress about having enough, providing for ourselves, being able to do that, feeling stressed and tired and exhausted? Are we projecting that onto our partner? Are we just coping with it ourselves? Is it making you withdrawn? Is it making you reactive? Both are the same. You're either withdrawn and doing it to yourself, or you're reacting and expressing it to somebody else around you and into your environment. Channeling it into your work can be a good thing. Channeling it into creativity also can be a good thing. I would say and suggest either of those options would be preferred at this point in time this year, rather than projecting it onto your partner, simply because what we fear and what we're afraid of sometimes is that our relationship will not survive. And so sometimes we react and behave in a way where we push someone away, or we are hateful toward them. And guess what? Self-fulfilling prophecy. You are creating exactly what you were afraid of. Is it a necessity to do that? I don't feel that's the case at all. I feel that if we were more self-assured in ourselves, more reassured about our ability to handle things, deal with life, deal with situations, deal with our emotions, seriously deal with our emotions, that scenarios never have to get to that point of imploding or exploding, that we can navigate through with a bit of patience, a bit of grace, a bit of allowance and understanding of another person's struggles. And, if another person has been problematic toward you, they absolutely are dealing with something they cannot cope with. They are going through some tough stuff and they're not knowing how to deal with it. A little understanding that it's not about you. They might be flinging things at you and blaming you, But really all they're saying is, I can't cope with this. I can't take this. Take this from me. You have to take this from me. You have to help me with this. It has to be you. And especially in really close relationships with the person you love, which is kind of, it's a bit of a problem really, because what you want is the opposite of what you give sometimes. If you react to somebody, you really don't want to react. You really want them to be kind to you so you can be kind back, because that's how you feel toward them. The dynamic in a relationship, or actually in work and life as well, is like a game. And it's not to trivialise it. It's simply, if someone picks up a tennis racket and hits a ball in your direction, do you pick up the tennis racket and hit it back? Or do you pick up the tennis racket so the ball doesn't hit you and let it drop in front of you? Or do you not pick up the tennis racket at all? And do you step aside? It's a metaphor. Think about it. Think about it. With any interaction you have with anybody on any day, we have had Mercury in retrograde, which means that communications get mixed up. Some technical things happen where you can't get things done. It hasn't been free-flowing communication how you'd like it to be. People are at odds with each other. It's partly to do with what happens up there in the sky. We know we have planets around people. Those planets really do affect us, and we know the moon does, so I can safely talk about the moon. And yesterday we had a full moon in Aquarius, and at the same time we've got massive solar flares, some really big ones, but a lot of activity on the sun in its 11th solar cycle. A huge amount. You can read about it more on YouTube. This affects the planet. That means it affects the magnetic energy that the planet has, which means it affects us as human beings, because we are energy. And it's wonderful for creation. It's wonderful for attracting abundance and the things we want into our lives. And you know, anything that's happened to you this year that you have felt has been dramatic, catastrophic, completely life-changing, that has made you feel what, why, where, how, when, anything that's happened to you like this year is because of things you have wished for in your life to be better. You did not wish for the circumstances. You didn't wish for the catastrophe. You certainly didn't wish for the relationship breakup if that happened. What you wished for was a better relationship, a more meaningful relationship, a healthier relationship, a more communicative relationship. And so something in your relationship had to come to a head, to be purged, to be settled, to be gotten rid of. And so if there was an event around your relationship this year, that is exactly why. Because you have put out wishes for a better relationship. If it is the other person in your relationship, then they also in the last few years have put out wishes for their relationship to be better in a lot of different ways. And often, especially with relationship, with what I'm talking about, the strongest thing that comes out with relationship is fear from the past of previous rejection in relationship, breakdown in relationship. This relationship stuff can go all the way back to your father if it's with your male partner. It can go all the way back to your father and how your father and you interacted as children. And dependent on that, and dependent on the way that affected you, your fears around that happening in a relationship with somebody that you love equally as much as even more than your father, and it can be your mother as well, so I'm just saying this as an example, can actually be a trigger of insecurity that comes up when something starts to happen in a relationship and you get faced with the reality of your fear. And for many of us this year, for pretty much everybody, in some way, we are being faced with any fears we still hold around relationship, around money, around work, career, our usefulness, our confidence, our self-esteem, our own question about our talents, our abilities, our uniqueness, because often we don't see our own uniqueness, and often we don't recognise what true talents we have. We might think, oh, I'm good at this, but is that your true talent? I will tell you, you both have talents and skills in areas you have learned, but you also have natural talents, and these often are hidden talents as well. Take leadership for an instance. Maybe you've never seen yourself as a leader. Maybe you've never known that you had any ability to be a leader of any sort. But maybe in your life you have rebelled against authority. Maybe in your life you rebelled against your parents' rules. Maybe you have wanted to be different. Maybe you felt you didn't fit in. Maybe you didn't feel you belonged on the planet. Maybe you felt that you were just different to everybody around you, so you were a loner and saw yourself as a loner. Maybe you always wanted freedom. Maybe you always wanted to be independent and do your own thing. Well, you are a leader. It's as simple as that. Maybe you haven't recognised that in yourself, but it's what it's telling you. It's telling you you're a leader. So what are you going to do? What ideas do you have? What thoughts that are strong in you about something that's important to you, something you would like to be doing, something you'd like to do in a certain way or in a different way to other people? Start doing that. This is the year to manifest your dreams. This is the year to find yourself, your life, your purpose, depending on your age. And I tell you what, if you are getting into the older generation, if you are nearing even the ending of your life or supposed near state of your ending of your life, you have time. You have time. You have time right now, today. Right now, today, you have something to share. You have something to give. Make sure it is not lost. I said something about this at another time I remember, but this year is your time to share something. Share it with a family member. Share it with your family in general. Share something about your knowledge, your learning, your experience, your understanding, a talent that you have. Just do one little thing. It might be write a note. It might be draw a picture. It could be write a poem. It could be say something to somebody that meant something to you, that helped you in your life. There's a whole lot of stuff that creates a whole lot of magic for people that you don't always see. You don't always see the result of it. But it's there, and we don't always know about it. But there's one kind of guarantee, and you know how life flashes before your eyes when you're at the point of passing and you see your whole life in front of you and every good deed and bad deed and every ant you stepped on as an experience when you pass over. There will be things that you will have hoped that you had shared. And so the invitation this year, particularly this year, is share it. Dream it, share it. I'm going to put an invitation out there. If you've ever wanted or thought about being on the radio, my number is 027 4166 545. I am Gail. I would love to have you on my radio show. It is not scary. It is simply someone talking to somebody else. And I'd love to hear what you want to say. It doesn't matter what you want to say, anything. If you want to just have a bit of fun and have an experience, you can be here for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You don't have to be here for the whole show. But I'd seriously love for you to come talk about something that's important to you. We can talk about it together. I've had a lot of life experiences. Maybe I can join in on the conversation and help you with that and ask you questions that other people might be curious about. So, again, this is Radio Hawke's Bay. I am Gail. My phone number is 027 4166 545. If you want to just come on the show and talk about anything, would be great. I'm going to be back in a few minutes and do another part to this show, which is more about this year again, but about the energies and influences that are impacting on you this year.